Hi guys, welcome to Little Wicket Railway. I'm Rob, and in this video I'd like to talk about the Hornby 2024 product announcement. And I know what you're thinking, that was days ago and now it's old news, but I don't really want to talk about the actual range being announced. Loads of people have already done that. I want to focus on the way they did the announcement, because whilst I wasn't blown away by the range, it was the announcement itself that's left me feeling really quite disappointed. And before the accusations of Hornby bashing start, I'd like to clarify that generally I like Hornby and I really do want them to do well. They're the biggest brand in the hobby, they've got the resources to do things other manufacturers can't, and that means there's a lot of responsibility on their shoulders when it comes to keeping railway modelling buzzing. Times are tough, retailers and exhibitions are closing down, people don't have the money to spend on trains, and it seems like interest in the hobby is waning. In these troubling times, we turn to Hornby to bring us the innovation, the excitement, the leadership to get us through and reassure us that it's all going to be okay. And what better way to inspire us and make us all feel positive again than the big product launch for the new range, something we can look forward to, gets us all talking and fired up. Now, the star of this year's show was clearly Locomotion number 1. Okay, it's Era 1, so it's not going to be for everyone, but I think it looks incredible. And you'd be hard pushed to find someone who didn't think this wasn't a remarkable piece of model engineering. Hornby are clearly very proud of it, it's on the front cover of this year's catalogue, although why they're still producing catalogues and charging 10 quid for them in 2024, I'll never know. But this model clearly deserves a grand reveal, something with a bit of showbiz and pizzazz. But before we look at what Hornby did to introduce this remarkable model, I want to show you how a Curascale launched a product. So we're out on location. There's lots of train action going on. There's dramatic music in the background starting to build the suspense. Everything about this is saying whatever we're about to announce, it's big and it's important. You need to sit up and pay attention to this because it's going to be massive. So what could it possibly be? What could this all possibly be building up to?
Without any further teasing, it's time to unveil our latest project in the Power in Britain range. It is the humble 16-ton Minerals.
Oh, it's a wagon. Just a wagon, not even a particularly special wagon, but with a launch video Spielberg would be proud of, they could be selling anything and I'd have still been glued to the screen and pretty excited about it. So with that in mind, how did Hornby launch Locomotion number 1, a unique and special engine, a never before produced ready to run model? If a common as anything wagon could get that kind of treatment from a Curascale, then I can't wait to see what Hornby did for this marvel of model engineering. They went with an 8-minute chat with Head of Development Carl. This actually made up nearly a third of the launch video, and don't get me wrong, Carl is clearly a knowledgeable and talented chap and he seems lovely, but where's the fanfare for such an impressive model? That conversation with Carl continued for another 4.5 minutes covering the flirt, and this conversation piece in total was significantly longer than all other product announcements put together. Where's the excitement here? This is Martin Weaver's first time running the show as head of brand, and he did hint that Hornby were moving away from this big one-off launch event and will be doing other announcements throughout the year, which I think is a good idea, and maybe those launches might have a bit more energy to them. Although presumably this means there will be models being announced that aren't in the catalogue, so not only is it a rip-off, but it's also incomplete. Martin also said that this is another catch-up year, again something I actually really welcome, as I'm still waiting on models I ordered from 2021, so hopefully we're moving away from models being announced, not showing up for years, and then when they do eventually turn up being 21% more expensive than what you ordered them for. Notably, TT wasn't mentioned, and it's getting its own event later on in the year, which makes sense. When TT first came out, they did a mega launch, and I'm pretty sure they've still got a lot to deliver from that. So it was probably a good idea not to announce anything else at the moment. I was disappointed that there was no mention of HM7000 or TXX. That was such a huge innovation last year that it would have been good to see them promote that again, even if it was just an update on sound profiles rather than hardware. So those are my thoughts on the announcement. Overall, not very inspiring. I really want Hornby to be successful, and I think they've got all the ingredients for success, but they don't seem to be coming together at the moment. And we need them to, because if anyone can get the hobby out of this hole that we seem to be getting ourselves into, then it's got to be the biggest name in the game. If you want my thoughts on the range, then here you are, and to keep it brief, I've loosely put things into 3 categories. The first category is called Nostalgia Tat. These are models that rely on nostalgia and being called limited edition to sell. They're not quality models, and I'm not sure why we're celebrating the 70th anniversary of a factory. The RRP of Connie, Polly and Nelly is a ridiculous $49.99. The second category is Beatles Tat. Presumably these models appeal to someone out there and each to their own, but personally I think they're awful. The third category is repainted things that we've seen before, and this covers most of the locomotives and the wagons, although it's nice to see some models back in the range that haven't been around for ages. They're really pushing the Class 66s in some unusual liveries, but these models are now pretty dated, lacking in detail and features, and you'd be better off waiting and getting one from a Curioscale and spending a bit more money. But I suppose Hornby are hoping that these unusual liveries will help them sell. Sea Lions and Sea Cow wagons are back, but I think these are actually a 2005 tooling. They've put a crane on a Laureate Y, which is interesting, but with an RRP of $64.99, I'll be giving that a miss. I'm pleased that they're finally releasing Era 1 and Era 2 rolling stock as individual models. If you model that era, then it gives you a few more options. And the GNER HST featured heavily, and they've made 8 coaches to go with it, which I suppose is good if you're into GNER. And that's about it. Hopefully I wasn't too harsh on Hornby. I know a lot of effort goes into these videos, but on this occasion, I don't think they did the products justice. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Special thanks to all the YouTube members and patrons for your support. It's very much appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, please do press the like button and subscribe to the channel for plenty more railway content. That's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you again soon.